Welcome back for part 3 of the 12-volt battery replacement on a Tesla Model S. This video has been long in coming, and originally I didn't see much benefit in putting this one together because it's a reverse process of video number 2, but a lot of demand for it, and I did actually find a couple of things that I think would help people out. So here I'm pointing out some of the bolts that need to be reattached. We've got the ground lugs on here as well as the positive terminals. Okay, so here we're going to start the reinstallation of some of the soft components. I just pointed out the 4 bolts that hold on the air cleaner, the in-cabin air filter. And here I'm attaching the cover for the battery. Alright, now here is the first component of the air filter, the in-cabin air filter. Things that you want to be careful about when doing the in-cabin air filter mount is the bolts getting attached to the firewall. I use a deep socket so that I'm able to put the bolt in there and then hand tighten those so you don't accidentally drop that bolt down into the compartment. These are metal bolts that we're attaching to the firewall with a thin piece of plastic between them, so the tension that you put on those bolts is pretty important. You can see here that I am choking up on the ratchet in order to make sure that I do not apply too much force. You don't want to be holding down on the handle. You hold up towards the ratchet portion and allow that to keep you from getting too much leverage and snapping the plastic components inside of there. And just get them good and hand tight. Here you can see that I'm reinstalling the air filter, the in-cabin air filter. These are extremely cheap through the Tesla Service Center, so I'd recommend going there. I believe that they're cheaper than any you'll find at Walmart or one of the Fram ones, so make sure you support your local service center. So here we are done with the installation. You can see that the 12-volt service needed message has disappeared from my console. You can also see that I can install the update that's been pending. A little trick here is if you tap the timer a couple of times, it'll actually drop it right down to 1 second and install immediately. Here I am installing the trim work that sits directly underneath the windshield wipers. It sits inside of a channel on the windshield that is a little bit tricky to get in, and you just have to make sure that everything lines up properly. Here's a close-up of the channel that piece of trim sits inside of. Next comes the installation of the windshield wipers. These are a little tricky to line up, but you'll notice that on each side there's some markers that show, here's an image of it, to help you align where the windshield wipers are supposed to line up exactly. The spindles that those are on have lots of teeth, and you can just adjust it in small increments to get it just right with the markers on the windshield. So one of the last things to do is to reinstall some of the plastic trim. This was one of the more valuable things that I think you'll pick up from this video, which is the clips on the back of this plastic trim. When I was installing mine, I noticed that either I did or over time the plastic clips that hold these two trim pieces on either side down started to break off. There's little tabs here you can see that are just double-sided adhesive to the metal fender of the car, and these just tend to heat up or whatever and come off. So here you see me removing the adhesive foam tape, double-sided adhesive foam tape that is used to adhere these to the car. I then wipe down the actual side of the fender with some Xylene is what I chose to use. You want to be real careful with any chemical cleaner. Some Goof Off or something works. I think I had to do a little bit of scraping on there to get that off, just to get rid of all of the extra component or extra adhesive off of the fenders. Readhering those clips to the car was real easy. I had some of this 1-inch foam adhesive on both sides, double-sided foam that I just trimmed down to be the right size for those clips. And then I just lined up with where they were originally on the car and placed them on. I used the plastic trim to help me kind of eyeball where that's going to be. It's not crucial that you get it exactly lined up. There are little channels on there, so as long as you get most of it, you'll be just fine. That's it. You reinstall the rubber bumpers and you're done. Hope you enjoy the video. See you at a supercharger.